Good morning. This is Paul Quinn, and I just wanted to take a moment to go ahead and catch up with the deacons that weren't able to make the deacons meeting the other day, and give them a little bit of the Connect deacon training. This will be the first in a series of a couple of training sessions on connecting at Cool Spring. And this is going to be my effort at trying to get the deacons fully up to speed. So if you can't make a meeting on certain trainings, at least you'll be up to date. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is that the Connect training is a new effort that is being done by Cool Spring. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it. So this new effort is based on the new emphasis on the assimilation team, or volunteer integration. It is linked to our mission statement, which is to reach and develop all people into devoted followers of Christ. And they're using the book Connect here in this ministry. It's written by Nelson Searcy. Brad and the staff are using this book as guidelines to making changes or an improvement in connecting volunteers to these different positions. So this book actually is located in the workroom. There's a few copies left if you're interested, and feel free to go ahead and read the book and bring it back and let somebody new read it. So the book focuses on volunteerism. The reasons why we need it, recommendations on how to get started, identifies the types of people who attend church and connects them with their level of commitment. There's actually, like, I think 7 different levels, believe it or not. And as you can imagine, you can have someone who's a 20-year person who just changed churches and they've got plenty of experience in a ministry. They need an entry level to begin with. As well as you have the new Christian who's never served in any position at all, perhaps. Then you also have the Christian that is not new. They've been serving for a long time, so they know a little bit about church, but they're new Christians, and so where do they serve? And then, of course, you have all your spiritual gifts and where your skills lie, so and where your passions are. So this is all about creating opportunities at the appropriate level. And so once identified all of these different positions and levels, finding the right spot is a little bit easier to do. So once they volunteer in a position and grow, developing them up the ministry ladder is important so that they can get up to the next spot. So let's go a little bit further. Some of the vital points about the Connect book is the why. And the why is based on Scripture. And the Scripture, the 2 pieces that are mentioned throughout the book is the greatest among you must be a servant, which was stated by Jesus. And again, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life to be the ransom for many. Again, from Jesus. So Jesus knew how important it was to be a servant and be able to serve while we're here and to serve others. And it's important to fulfillment within our life. So why am I telling you this? I mean, you're a serving deacon. Why is this important? Well, as deacons or reps of the congregation and the church, we contact people all the time. We're a link to their chain of communication to the church. We're a link in the chain for everything. So why wouldn't we be a link in their chain for their next step in their walk? If we can talk to someone, learn about them, find out what their interests are, and then recommend to them a particular ministry that they might be good at or an entry-level position, that just makes sense. And so if you're going to recommend where their next step should be, you have to know a little bit about them, and that's something that is a basic part of being a deacon. And in order to make that good recommendation, you have to keep familiar with the latest opportunities. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about here today. um, so deacons are leaders in ministries, and as well. So they can identify the processes that need to be broken down and guide the ministries or ministers into making good decisions about how to break them down. Imagine that if you were on or had never served on a chair team, but yet you were going to make recommendations, or you were going to break down the jobs on a chair team into different positions to assign them. That would be a tough task. But having been on a chair team, many of you, you could identify different processes that could make things work better. So with that in mind, let's keep going. So ministry teams. What Ted and the assimilation group is doing is they're identifying new positions for entry level, and I'm going to show you some examples of what they've done. But what they're doing is they're breaking down some of the big jobs into smaller parts, so that can be easier to do for entry-level folks. So how they used to identify some of these jobs? Well, some of them have high burnout rate of volunteers, or an overburdened volunteer, or there's a very low volunteer rate for them, and there may be no end date on the volunteer position. So all of those things need some sort of remedy associated with. So breaking down the jobs is a partial part of that. So where do we go from here? Well, there's going to be some more training that we're going to be going through, and I'm going to be asking the deacons to either read the book or watch the training videos as we go forward and provide input to how the process is going. So if you can attend the future deacon training for hands-on examples, either through these videos or attending the meetings, or identify positions that need either development or breakdown, that would be great. So I'm going to be attaching, and I'll show you here in a few minutes, a sheet. So let me just show you that right now. So this is an example of the first served positions, and hopefully you can read that. If not, let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so let me bring it over here some. All right, so these are the first served positions. Alright, so hopefully you can see that. So if you were to take a look at them, you see under children's ministry you have the greeters, prop room coordinator, resource room coordinator, large group decorator. These are actual jobs that could be done, you know. So toy cleaner, supply organizer, etc. Okay, you go through there, you can see, well, these are pretty well descriptive jobs. But if you go down to care, for instance, it just says homebound, transportation, small jobs. A not very detailed list, okay? So not down to specific tasks. So it could be broken down a little bit more. As well as you go into, for instance, worship, you know, it has Lord's Supper team, assist with communion. Those aren't specific tasks. Those are assigned positions. So you can see those kind of things need to be broken down into specific tasks, because you may not want to volunteer for assisting with communion preparation, for example. Okay. Another good example is chair team. So it says assist team with complete setup weeks 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, what if you can't set up every week, but you could go ahead and put them back up again? So you could break the chair team positions down into a lot of different positions. Let me give you some examples. You could have set up on a Friday, and that would be all you would do. You volunteer on the 4-week basis to do that with one of the teams, or you just put up on Sunday, or maybe you don't have the body strength to go ahead and lift those chairs, and as a setup position or a person, you can do the straightening on the chairs. Okay, there's a lot of different ways to break these positions up, and do it and get more volunteers. I'm sure the chair team wouldn't mind it if someone at least showed up to put them down. If that's all they can do, you do what you can do. So you get the idea. So let's go back to the presentation, and I think that's about it. So this was the point where during the Deacon training there were questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. What I'd really like to do, and just kind of reiteration, is read the book, watch the training, and help identify some of these positions and break them down into a little bit bigger. There we go. Now you can see it better. Break it down into something that you can use, these first serve entry level positions. Okay. With that, hope you have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.